Welcome back, boys, to episode 6.
Come on.
It's only taking us.
Yes. Yeah,
It's only taking us like half a year to do
Come
6
on.
episodes. But we here, boys.
Come on.
So I don't know what we got to talk about today. We've only had a week in between this episode and last episode.
This is the shortest between time I think we've had because there's a lot going on over the weekend. You got the NFL draft, some crazy NBA playoff stuff, some crazy storylines in the MLB. Not much going on in college football. A little quiet this week. Just a lot of highlighting the NFL caliber players coming from college teams. But yeah, fun little weekend. So.
All right, boys. What do we want to talk about first? You want to talk about the NFL draft? You want me to talk about some NBA playing?
We can talk about the NBA playoffs and kick it off.
Because NBA is better than NFL.
Nah, there's more to talk about with the NBA playoffs.
All right, well, what's happened since last video? The Memphis Grizzlies got clapped.
Yeah.
They're out. They're done. Should have never even been in there, but they got swept by the OKC Thunder. They're
16-0 is still alive.
Fact, I'm telling you, 4-0, baby.
16-0 is still alive.
My prediction is well on its way.
They're
running through the West right now.
They are.
Oh, yeah, and I saw a video. I got reminded of something that John Morant said about halfway through this NBA season.
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Fine
in the West and got.
Round.
I mean, you can't be saying I'm fine in the West and then be an 8 seed, dude.
8 seed to get swept.
Dude needs to stop worrying.
And gets beat by one of the largest margins in NBA.
That's insane, dude.
That's a crazy callback, dude. Like you can't be saying stuff like that.
This is once again why no professional athlete should have social media.
Or just
shut
be
your
a
mouth.
little humble, you know.
I will say this: I feel like NBA is the most unhumble athletes of all. I don't know. You got some crazy football players.
No, but see this.
But I feel like they're the most active with calling people. Like they're not afraid to speak their mind in the NBA. You don't hear MLB storylines about unless it's your own teammate. Your name is Ronald Acuna Jr.
Would you say that this is like a whole nother argument as to why it's like harder to like play in today's sports than any other time, because this is like a whole nother like area you have to deal with, and that every single word that you ever say will be recorded and put on the internet?
No.
You don't think that makes it harder? You don't think Michael Jordan would have had a hard time in the 90s if everything he ever spoke would come back to bite him because it'd be recorded and put everywhere?
But Michael Jordan would have proved him wrong.
Not necessarily. He
100%.
got knocked out of the first round 9 times before he made an NBA Finals.
It don't matter.
Yeah, it does matter.
Michael Jordan, regardless of how many times that he would like John Morant, if he goes and wins a final next year, this doesn't.
So what if Michael Jordan was John Morant's age? What is John Morant? He's younger than 25.
23, 24.
So what if Michael Jordan, 23-year-old Michael Jordan, would have said something like this, and he did not make it to the second round, which did happen in his career?
Yeah. He's 25 years old.
You don't think
Turned
that would
26
be?
this year.
You don't think that would be?
No, because Michael Jordan would have just won another NBA championship.
He didn't win another though. He didn't win one.
John Morant hasn't
when he
won
was younger.
one.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be the exact situation John Morant's in.
Yeah, but if John Morant goes and wins back-to-back-to-back championships twice, him saying this one time isn't going to put a stain on his career. It's going to be hilarious. I think we would have had a whole lot more clips from Michael Jordan, but I mean, I don't think it would have ever put a stain on his legacy, if that's what you're saying. I don't feel like we should give credit to newer NBA players because they do have to go through more external.
Yeah,
just
Michael
play
Jordan
ball.
was in the NBA
Just
for
play ball.
7 years before he won his first finals. So he had 7 years to say some bull crap
Yeah,
that he couldn't back up.
I mean,
And you know
He
MJ
backed
was
it up.
saying some bull crap, man.
yeah.
He didn't back it up for 7 years, though.
So he eventually backed it up.
Yeah, but John Morant looks so stupid right now for this.
Yeah.
So in that moment,
and Michael Jordan would look like an absolute idiot until
Yeah,
he went
exactly.
and won 6 finals.
Yeah, but
So if John Morant goes and wins 6 finals, yeah, sure.
But now John
he can
Morant-
say whatever he wants.
now
But
John Morant's gonna have
right now he can say whatever he wants.
now John Morant's gonna have this looming
Yeah,
over his career.
And Jordan would have had it looming until he won 6
yeah, but that
finals.
might affect how John Morant plays from now on.
If that right there affects how you play,
But it
you
could.
should not be a professional athlete.
But it could.
If that right there, if the external
It could
factors,
affect- it could affect
if people making fun of you online for you saying something and can't backing it up
But-
affects you, you should not be a professional. You're not going to be a successful professional athlete.
Not only Ja personally, but it could affect the teammates he has now wanting to play with somebody like that. It could affect his future teammates that he could get one day, that the Grizzlies could trade for or sign. It could affect a lot of things.
It took LeBron 9 years to win a championship after he got in the NBA.
Bro, we ain't even talking about LeBron. LeBron
I know,
was
I
on
know.
the Cavaliers.
I know, but what I'm saying is, you brought that up, and I'm just bringing up another modern day player who, but LeBron James was.
But
talking
LeBron
crap.
did have to live through
LeBron
this.
James was talking crap for 9 years, but does that put a stain
Yeah.
on his legacy? No.
But it did.
I don't
But
think it
LeBron
does.
also didn't have this level of social media in those first 9 years.
When did he win his first one? 12, 11?
2012.
2012?
When he went to the Heat.
So, I mean,
2012, 13.
that's when stuff started to ramp up. So, I mean,
Might have been 2011. No, he lost to the Mavs in 2011.
What about Steph? Steph's won what, 2 or 3?
2015 started in 2015.
Exactly.
He's won 4.
He's won 4? Good for him.
No, he's won 5. He's either won 4 or 5. The one in 2015, 2017, 2018, and 2022. That's the ones I know. So he's won 4.
Steph Curry has the same amount of NBA championships as LeBron.
Yeah. That's why it's a big deal. This playoffs is a huge deal because people are saying if he wins the championship this year somehow that he will be like, it's time to start putting him like with Michael Jordan and LeBron.
If Curry does?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
because
also
you don't have
hinders-
Klay Thompson.
But it
though.
also hinders his. It also hinders his legacy that he didn't win any of the final MVPs for most of his championships. He was under Kevin Durant for 2 of them. He didn't win in 2015 to Iguodala.
Iguodala. I was going to say, didn't
So
Iguodala
that really
win
puts
over
a
him?
stain on his championships
Yeah.
that like he wasn't the final MVP in like 3 out of the 4 of them.
How many did LeBron win? He won all of them? All of his final MVPs? That's what I
Michael
thought.
Jordan did too.
Yeah.
See, that's what also puts it on. It stains Kobe's legacy like that.
Let's
too,
say because
because
Kobe, you had,
Shaq took it 3 of them.
Shaq took a bunch
All
of them.
3 of the 3-peats were
For
Shaq.
some reason, I thought
Shaq dominated.
For some reason, I thought Pau Gasol won one. That's
No,
a
I'm pretty
random
sure Kobe was the Finals MVP when he won with Powell. But Shaq dominated the 3-peat. Like Kobe was his Robin. Like,
No,
he was
Pau
the
Gasol won the NBA Finals MVP in 2010.
But Kobe won it one of the other years, right? They won 2 together, right?
I think they may have. He's won
Kobe-
it 2 times.
So he won 1 in the 3-peat.
He won
and then-
1 in the 3-peat, 1 with Gasol, because he has 5.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Shaq got 2, Kobe got 2, and Powell got 1. I thought Powell had gotten 1 during his time with the Lakers, unless Google just lied to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think social media.
So that's why Steph Curry is not already in like the top 5, top 4, top 3.
it's because there's the
Yeah.
words that he's been carried and stuff.
Okay, so we'll go to an actual competitive series now. We'll go to the Knicks and Pistons series, which the Knicks are leading 3-1 right now. But the Pistons did take Game 2 to tie the series 1-1 with a 194 victory over the Knicks. And this marked their first playoff win since the 2008 Eastern Conference Finals against Boston.
Bro, I was 3.
And they did eventually lose to Celtics, which did go on to win the 2008 Finals.
Dang.
But yeah, that first win in how many years is that?
17?
17?
I was 3.
Yeah, 17 years.
That's insane.
So the Pistons are back, and look, I've watched a decent amount of this series, and they are fitting that same like criteria as the bad boy Pistons. They play hard. They're young.
Dude.
They are a little undersized. Maybe you could say they're a little undersized, but yeah, they got heart. They got the drive. They got the hustle. But then let's move on to. Oh yeah. By the way, Cade Cunningham marked his first 30 piece of his playoff career.
Come
He
on.
had 30 points, 12 rebounds, 3
Dang.
assists to go along with 2 steals. So he had a great game too. After I think he had a rocky game 1 where people were kind of talking about how he might have been a little not a playoff performer, but he's here now. So Dennis Schroeder also had 20 off the bench for the Pistons, which I really
20
didn't
off
even
the
know.
bench?
I don't know how Dennis Schroeder even got to the Pistons.
I was about to say, how did he get the
I forgot.
Pistons?
I don't know how. I don't know.
Didn't we just do the whole entire thing where he did the rainbow jerseys earlier in the year? Was that
we
him?
Did. We did do that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he wanted the Pistons though.
But anyways, it's just crazy that the Pistons are even here because if we look back to last year, their 2023-2024 record, they won 14 games last year.
Didn't
they won? This team won 14 games last year.
Didn't they lose like 20 plus games in a row? They broke the record last year. I remember it, but I'm trying to remember the losing streak.
Oh yeah, last year they had the biggest losing streak.
Yeah. Pistons.
Yeah, dude. So this is like one of the biggest turnarounds in NBA history. From 14 games won last season to 44-38 this season, and what seed were they? A 6 seed? 6 seed. From 14 wins to a 6 seed.
They lost 28 games in a row last year. That's insane. To a 6 seed. That's.
So this is why I love
insane.
the NBA right now because there are so many teams with such good young cores and they're built so well. The Pistons, the Cavs, the Rockets, the Thunder, all these teams are just so many good young players around them. But then from game 2 and on, it's just been despair for the Pistons. They've kind of been getting a little bit screwed. The Knicks played incredible in game 3. Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson combined for 61 points. To beat the Pistons by only 2 points.
I was say still only by 2. Dang.
So they lost by 2 points in Game 3. Tragic. Then we move on to Game 4 last night. Did you see it?
I did not.
So the Pistons go down
heard about
3-1 after a controversial no call late in the fourth to give the Knicks the 94-93 win. So let's take a look at this final play. They give the Knicks a 1-point win over the Pistons. So watch this replay. He gets the pump fake, and look how much contact is on the right side.
I was say, it looks like his entire leg got sweeped.
Makes him jump,
Oh my gosh!
and that's a no call. And they do not review it. The game's over. They do not review it.
Is it reviewable?
I don't even know. But I do know the refs came after the game and admitted that it was the wrong call.
Yeah.
So
that's horrible.
This is a pivotal game 4. The series could have been tied 2-2.
All he had to do was make 2 of the 3 free throws.
Yeah, he had to make 2.
3-point. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
and they would have won the game.
man.
But instead, the Pistons are now down 3-1 instead of the series being tied 2-2
That's
off
terrible.
of that call.
And don't they go back to New York?
I would have to check, but I believe so.
Yeah, because Game 5, I believe, it may be back. That's horrible.
But that's crazy.
If I was a Pistons fan, I would be livid.
I heard someone suggest this, and it is crazy, but I want to hear your opinion. What would you do if it was possible for everybody to already be in the locker room in a situation like this? The replay center see that it was a no call, see that it was the wrong call, and then call everybody back out, even though the buzzer is already sounded and the game is already over for him to shoot the free throws. Should that be a thing, or do the Pistons or whatever team that is in this situation just get screwed because the game's already concluded?
So they're already back in the locker room, or they're
walking off the court. The game is over.
Oh no, review it. If they're on the court, still review it.
But some players go to the locker room sooner than the others. But yes, the game is over. They're walking off the court into the locker room.
No, there should be a halt.
But that's why I don't
stop.
understand why they didn't do that. And I think that's what the Pistons coach was trying to do. He was out there trying to get people to stop and to review it, but they didn't.
No, because if there's a questionable call to end a baseball game, we saw it with the Braves game the other night. Throw over, Matt Olson picks it, and he's called safe. Matt Olson's like, no. And all the Braves players were still in the field. They're like, this is an out. We should be. They waited, got their call reviewed. They were out. So just make the guys wait.
But see, that's easy in baseball because there's no time. They can take time.
True.
So there's no buzzer that was already the game. A baseball game is not over until the final out is made.
True.
So you can take that time.
That does
well,
make
basketball, the buzzer sounds and the game's over.
I don't know. Look at if the call is reviewable, review the call. But I guess the game would be over, so there is no. I don't know. Me personally, I would want them to review the call just to make sure the call's right.
Because they went and came out after the game was over listen to this. Crew chief David Guthrie told a pool reporter that the officials missed the call. During live play, it was judged that Josh Hart made a legal defensive play. Guthrie said, after post-game review, we observed that Hart makes body contact that is more marginal to Hardaway Jr. and a foul should have been called. So they came out and admitted the call was wrong.
So they reviewed it after. Wait, if you're going to review it anyways,
Yes.
why not review it live?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. And also, the people who blew the call should be, like, players get fined for doing dumb things. If a ref blows a call, he should be fined.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying every single blown
Or
if it is a game-changing decision.
Yeah. Or like they do this in like March Madness, I know. They'll have like the earlier rounds or like the regional tournaments before. It is like the referees' tryouts, and that's how they get.
Yes.
They weed out the bad refs, and only the good refs go deeper and deeper into the playoffs.
Exactly.
So I think it should be like that. Like if this crew like intentionally like made a bunch of bad calls or missed this call after other calls were made wrong too, then
Yeah.
it should be like under consideration that they do not officiate any more
They
games
deserve
as
the
playoffs.
Angel Hernandez treatment and should never be.
And that might be the
put
case.
in.
I don't know, but I think that's how it should be. I think it should be taken under consideration
Yeah,
that they don't
that's-
officiate anymore.
that's
because
insane. That
That
should
kind
be-
of call cannot be missed.
No,
and it's such an
100%.
easy call, dude. Like he jumped in the air, body contact was made, and Tim Hardaway clearly was affected by the shot.
Yeah, like you could see him kind of like push away. I mean, that was an ugly shot though.
But that's why. Like that's why.
That was, like just looking at the shot, I'm like, there's
Like the shot
contact.
wasn't even close to being made.
No,
yet.
like
you
you're-
think an NBA player is going to make
That's what I was about to say.
shot?
You're a
Like,
professional. Like there's contact on that. Either that or you were just throwing the ball up.
So
trying
yeah,
to sell
the missed foul call on Josh Hart in the Knicks Pistons Game 4 was not reviewable. While the NBA officials admitted to the missed call and said a foul should have been called, the play occurred in the last 2 minutes of a close game, but it wasn't a last 2-minute call that triggers review. So usually they review every play, is what I assume that means, in the last 2 minutes. So I don't know why. Why would the last second play not be the same as the last 2-minute play?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, every call in the last 2 minutes of a game decided by 3 points or less are reviewed, but this call didn't meet that criteria. It was a 1-point game with less than a second
I was
left.
about to say, yeah, I'm trying to. AI just Google AI just must not.
No, dude, let's look. Let's go to the.
That's insane. Yeah, I don't see why you can't just review a call.
The NBA releases a review of all calls in the final 2 minutes of games decided by 3 points or fewer, with those reports issued the day after the game. Okay. But in this case, with a poll report requested, explain what happened. The vast majority of Pistons fans stayed in their seats for minutes.
Yeah, basically, this person came to the ref afterwards and interviewed him, and the ref was dumb enough to say what actually happened,
Yeah, so, but I assume when the buzzer ends, they don't review anything.
which is dumb.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So after game 2, when the Pistons tied it up, it's been straight despair. They lost by, 2 points in game 3 off of a crazy performance by Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. It was also crazy how that happened. Like they just got dismantled. Really, it's crazy they only won by 2 still, which just shows the heart that young Pistons team has. But Karl Anthony Towns went crazy in the first half. He had most of his 31 points in the first quarter, and then it's like they just traded off, and Jalen Brunson had most of his 30 in the final quarter.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't really know where to go with a duo like that. Like
No.
Jalen Brunson's always like a really good player in the fourth quarter, and then you got a guy like Cat that can explode. Karl Anthony Towns has been having an insane series, dude. He's been a different player. It's been crazy. That step back 3 to put him up by 1 in that game.
That's
It's crazy that got overlooked by that terrible call, but that shot was crazy to put him up 1. So we'll move on to the Denver Nuggets series against the Los Angeles Clippers. So we'll look back to game 2 because I think last episode we had only saw all the game 1s, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
The Clippers tied the series 1-1 after a 105 and 102 win over the Nuggets, and Kawhi went for 39 points on almost 80% shooting.
So Kawhi carried.
Kawhi Leonard is literally a robot, dude. And it's crazy because, like, he can be, like, the greatest basketball player ever in the history of Earth just when he decides to.
That's insane.
Like,
And
dude, he can just turn it on and he goes for 40 points on 80% shooting.
the fact that the rest of the team just didn't do anything.
Yeah,
It was
so he
only
definitely-
Kawhi.
He carried. It was crazy. 40 points on 80% shooting. The rest of the team had a terrible night. The Nuggets did as well. They were sloppy with the ball, 20 turnovers. Jokic with an uncharacteristic 7 turnovers on the game. So he had an off game. So, yeah, but this series has been the most competitive series in a playoffs I've seen in a while, especially in round one.
Yeah.
Every game feels like it's been within, like, 3 points or something crazy like that. 3 points, 2 points. Except for game 3.
I was about to say, this
because
is...
in game 3, the Clippers came back off that energy from game 2 and blew the Nuggets out 83-117, a 34-point win.
That's ridiculous.
So that was crazy. But what I really wanted to talk about in this series today was that
Insanity.
game 4, buddy. At the end of game 4, what am I trying to say? Nuggets take game 4 in historic fashion off an Aaron Gordon buzzer-beating dunk to push Denver past the Clippers. And only a 2-point win, 101-99. So the game was tied 99-99. In the final possession, Jokic has the
Horrible
ball deep in the wing. He tries to take a turnaround 3, throws it up like Jokic usually does. We always see players like Jokic and Luka take these kind of shots. They will just
make them
throw
half
it
the
up.
time.
Luka almost had one in the last Lakers game. LeBron threw it out at the end of the shot clock, and he literally just tapped it up. It went sky high and then actually dropped in, but it was past the buzzer. But, yeah, so we see all these international players like Jokic and Luka throw up these crazy shots and make them a lot. Yeah, so we see Jokic on the right wing, tries to make a step-back, fade-away three-pointer, and then Aaron Gordon just flies in, catches the ball, and dunks it with like 0.1 seconds on the clock.
Controversial.
Yeah, so we were just talking. You don't think this should count?
I don't know what the rules are, but
I think if you can make a play like this and your hands ain't on the ball and it's
I
through the
think
rim.
that's my biggest thing is his hands are still on the ball. So 2, 1. Okay, never mind. They're
Like,
not.
dude, it's literally split. That's like the most perfectly timed buzzer beater in NBA history, and it was a dunk.
Okay, I think it should
That's
count.
crazy. As soon as it breaks the plane of the rim, the buzzer goes red. Like, that's the closest.
That is the closest.
That's like
I've
the
seen.
closest game winner, and it was a dunk, dude. Put back dunk off an air ball, turn away 3-pointer. Like, dude, makes no sense.
Yeah, no, because I thought the one angle I thought I saw his hands still on the ball, and the ball was just breaking the plane of the rim. But no, like he has when it hits 0, he has his fingertips on the ball, and the ball's basically going towards the bottom of the net, fully under the rim. So that 100%.
That's one of the best playoff game winners I've seen ever, but definitely in recent history. The last one I can remember like that is probably Damian Lillard over Paul George.
Wearing?
Hey, that's Brody, man. Come on, huh?
Bro, what is?
Why is he not playing?
Why is he not playing? Why is he not playing?
Funny
Yeah.
how they don't get beat by 50 when he's not playing.
Yeah.
I love Russell Westbrook though. But yeah, dude, that was crazy. Like I said, the last crazy playoff buzzer beater that could compete with that one that I remember is like Damian Lillard over Paul George.
Yeah,
But
just Dame time.
speaking of Dame time, I'm actually going to skip down and we're going to talk about that Indiana Pacer and Milwaukee Bucks
Come on.
series
I
that
like
you're actually turning out to be right about.
I like the Pacers.
But the Pacers are up 3-1 right now. But the Bucks have been dealing with very misfortune. So this whole series, Dame was out game 1, still coming off that the blood clot that he was dealing with, which was
very
apparently crazy comeback, never seen before.
Yeah, blood clot,
recovery
and then
from
just
a blood clot. Comes back game 2, which I can't remember if the Bucks won game 2 or not.
Yeah, they tied it up 1-1, I believe.
They did.
I believe.
So they did tie the series up when they came back, but then we come to game 4, halfway through the first quarter, Damian Lillard goes down with a non-contact injury to his left leg.
Yeah.
Can't get himself up to the locker room on his own will. And people were saying it's his Achilles. So Giannis is looking very frustrated. I've heard talks of numerous fans saying they think this is his last year with the Bucks.
Come to Atlanta.
Do you think that?
I
don't see Giannis as a player that's gonna leave like that.
I don't see it, but I could see.
But he could be like Freddie Freeman. Like, I got y'all one. I love Milwaukee. I love this city. All y'all have done for me. But I'm got y'all one.
I'm chasing another one.
Yeah, like I got y'all the one, and this is my city. Y'all did so much for me, but now it's time for me to go compete.
I'm not saying this, but I'm just kind of thinking like Giannis paired with a couple other stars. Could you imagine if he went to like a Pacers and you have like Halliburton and Giannis?
Nah, he ain't gonna.
He's
You think he's gonna pull the Kevin Durant?
He's not going to the Pacers, but
you can't beat him. Join him,
dude. But think about like Anthony Edwards and Giannis, dude. Think about. Think about like some of the generational.
I would have to
young
look into
guys.
what I'm gonna have to look into what is actual feasible, like trades or signings for him to
Devin
do. And
Booker
we can talk about it next.
And
video.
Giannis.
That wouldn't work.
No, the Suns never have any cap.
He's got to have like. No, I'm trying to think like fit like. Because Giannis is a ball dominant big.
True.
He needs the ball in his hands, and he needs to play through fast breaks. So someone like Devin Booker, that's like an ISO player, and that's what Damian Lillard is too. And I think that's why it doesn't work out as well. These ISO players, I don't think fit well with Giannis.
Victor Wembanyama and
That's
Giannis.
ridiculous. And De'Aaron Fox though.
Dude,
I think De'Aaron Fox is more of like a pure point guard that could work with.
That could work. What about him going to the Warriors? Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green.
How much did the Warriors have left? How much does Steph Curry have left though?
I don't know, dude. But if you think about it, you just made the Freddie Freeman comparison. I mean, you see some of the players on their team. You have a young Shohei Ohtani, but you also have people like Mookie Betts who are getting a little older. You have people like Corey.
He just needs to come to the Hawks.
He needs to come to the Hawks.
Bro, trade Young.
Trade Trae Young to the Bucks.
Dude.
Trae Young and Dame Lillard is so much better than
Dyson
Dame Lillard.
Daniels, Jalen Johnson, and Giannis.
Dude, yes. Give it to me.
Oh, man.
Dude. Whoa.
Huh.
I just looked up places they could be traded to, and the Hawks are actually one of them. I don't know why. I don't know what reason.
Because the Hawks are selling, man. They need to sell.
Dude, Jalen Brunson, Cat, and Giannis?
I just feel like that'd be too crowded.
I don't know why that's even a
Wherever
suggestion.
Giannis goes, the system has to be ran through Giannis.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you almost can't
So,
use
like,
Giannis.
the Knicks already have a system. They already have how they play through Brunson and
You know who
Cat.
does it? The Hawks.
That's what I'm saying. The Hawks are a clean slate right now, dude. The Hawks can go in any direction.
Come to the Hawks, Giannis, please.
Bro,
you broke my heart.
I want
a
Zion
couple
to come to
years
the
ago.
Hawks.
Zion!
Yes. Zion would be awesome in Atlanta.
You know how much Waffle House this dude would be eating in Atlanta, bro?
don't
You know how
care,
much
man.
Waffle House
I don't
Zion would be
care,
eating
man.
in Atlanta, dude? He
I
flipping
don't
gained 300
care.
pounds.
I don't care.
Dude. I mean,
Zion is... Bro, when Zion's healthy, he's a top 10 player easy.
but he's never healthy.
He could be.
I love Zion to death, dude, but he's very...
Kawhi hasn't stayed healthy his past, 7 or 8 years in the league either, and guess what? He's still got one in 2019. All we need is one healthy Zion playoff series at the Hawks. That's all I want. I just compared Zion to Kawhi Leonard.
I was about to say, did you really
I
just
don't
compare
care.
Zion to Kawhi Leonard?
I was comparing him in the sense that all we
The
need
injury prone.
yes,
You see
is one
season.
good season with
Well, I mean, didn't a young, healthy Kawhi also beat LeBron? Didn't a young, healthy Kawhi also beat LeBron? Or was he carried? Because wasn't Duncan still on that team and Parker with the Spurs?
Say it one more time.
Kawhi Leonard, young and healthy, on the San Antonio Spurs, beat LeBron in the Heat? Or was Kawhi carried by, Duncan and...
No.
and
all
the
Kawhi
guys.
was guarding LeBron the entire season.
Okay, yeah, that's what I didn't know. I didn't know if he was just playing
No, I mean, yeah,
like a
obviously
roll-off
Tim
event.
Duncan was
But yeah,
the
Duncan
leader
and
of that
Parker
team.
and...
No, Kawhi was crazy still.
Okay, yeah,
I think Kawhi might have.
Didn't he win the MVP?
Yes.
Because I remember when he won it with the Raptors, he was one of the only people to win it in the East and the West. Because he won the MVP of the Toronto series. I remember that. And that's when Kyle Lowry became one of my
Yeah, he
favorite.
won it in 2014,
Dang, he's old.
where they beat the Heat in the finals.
Dude, yeah.
So, yeah, he did not get carried.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So,
Yeah, he's old. I think he only got... I want to say he got drafted in 2011.
dang, dude. I did not realize how old Kawhi Leonard was. But, what other series we got going on around here?
He's only 33.
Is that young for NBA? I don't know how old NBA players typically last.
I would say
He's definitely out of his
you can
prime.
consider NBA players old when they're like over 35.
So he's aging out of his prime basically, and he's getting there.
Yeah. Like their primes are like any prime in sports, like 27 to 30.
Yeah.
And then after that, they kind of start regressing. Unless you're LeBron
I would
James.
say MLB primes are very young. I've noticed that.
Except for pitchers. Pitchers
Dude,
they can have
flipping
primes till they're 70 years
Verlander
old.
Verlander's the oldest guy to ever make a flipping opening day start or something like that this year. He's like 47 or some crap. But
But yeah, dude, Kawhi, man. He's been carrying the Clippers this season.
True.
38, bro. 38. 80% shooting, 39, 30%, 79% shooting. That's crazy.
What other? Oh,
we got to talk about the
Rockets.
Lakers series. Oh, you want to talk about the Rockets?
I would say, what's going on with the Rockets and Warriors? Because that's a whole lot more competitive than I thought it was going to be. At least from the standpoint of like, it's not 3-0.
So Jimmy Butler went down
Oh,
in game 2.
yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler goes down in game 2. Doesn't play game 3. Warriors still get the win in game 3. And Jimmy Butler thanks everyone but Draymond Green.
Oh
No, Buddy Hield.
Buddy, yeah, I saw that.
You saw that?
He's like, don't dribble the
I don't know
ball,
what
dude.
that's
It's just so
about.
annoying.
That's just Jimmy
I
Butler.
think it's just them having some fun. I saw that where he was
Nah,
like,
Jimmy Butler always be doing that.
just stop dribbling the ball. That's
But
what he
yeah,
told me.
the Warriors are up 2-1 right now. So, I haven't paid too much attention to this.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk about Jalen Green because this is his first
Yeah.
playoff appearance, and he had a very rough game 1 too. But in game 2, he did lead the Rockets to a win over the Warriors with 38 points as well. So he had a really good game too. Yeah, his first game he only had 7 points on 20% shooting. So that was his playoff debut.
Not the greatest.
For Jalen Green was not pretty, but he did have a bounce back game with 38 points. So we'll see what the future holds for him and the Rockets. But for me now, I don't see them. I see the Warriors getting to round 2. Because I think Curry's hit a hot streak. He's like looking like 2016, 2015
Okay.
Curry. So if he can maintain that, if Jimmy Butler comes back and does Jimmy Butler things, if Draymond keeps playing at the defensive efficiency that he's been playing at, I think they can get to round 2. But
Who are they going to be
if
playing?
the Warriors get to round 2, they're not beating the Timberwolves.
You think that? So you don't?
Anthony Edwards is locked in.
You don't have any hope for LeBron and Luka? 3-1 comeback.
Nah, dude. I wish if I got to see a 3-1 comeback from Luka and LeBron.
Again. LeBron doing it again.
It'd
They
be
just
crazy.
made a new LeBron
But I don't
song.
think it's happening. I think Minnesota's going to get that one done to wrap that up. They did just go up 3-1 to the Lakers off of Anthony Edwards' 40 bomb last game to go up by 3-1 with the 3-point win over the Lakers. Luka also had 38 points. He's been consistent. He's been crazy. He's been making crazy shots. He's been chopping it up, but it has not been enough. And they're one loss away from being put out of the playoffs. But I wanted to bring this up to you. I saw this stat. 0 substitutions for the Lakers in the entire second half. J.J. Redick kept the same 5 players on the court the entire second half. That's the first time a coach has done that in the play-by-play era. So pretty much like the past, as far as you can remember, this has never been done by a coach. To keep 5 players in for an entire half. 40-year-old LeBron played
I was about to say.
46 minutes last night. And they lost by 3.
How many minutes are in an NBA game?
48.
And
regulation.
LeBron only sat for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you're going to win?
And they were playing small ball.
Yeah.
Because Jackson Hayes got 4 minutes last night. Their center got 4 minutes last night. They had Dorian Finney-Smith in for him.
So
Dorian Finney-Smith got about 42 minutes off the bench last night.
Okay.
Which, he did hit big shots in the fourth. That's what I'm saying, it worked good, and it's honestly the only option they had that did keep them this close in the game to only lose by 3. The Lakers, I talked about this in the last episode so much, how important depth is. The Lakers are so top-heavy right now, it's not even funny. And they have a huge piece missing that is so important for the playoffs in a center. They just don't have the depth. Because even though Luka goes for 40, even though all these things can happen, you still got LeBron going how good he's going at his age. Once they get tired and once they get gassed, they don't have anybody that can come in as that spark for them off the bench. Like the Minnesota Timberwolves, because Naz Reid came in last night in the fourth quarter and I know he had 5 straight points. He probably had more than that. Comes in, has a tough floater, straight off the bench in the fourth quarter. Tough floater, straight next possession, pulls up, top of the key, drains it, puts him up.
Dang.
Naz Reid is, I think he won 6th Man of the Year last year. I'm pretty positive he was the 6th Man of the Year last year. And he's still doing Naz Reid things off their bench. He is insane. He's like the most important. He's probably the most important bench piece in this entire NBA playoffs. He's so versatile. He's so big. He's so shifty for his size. He can shoot. He can score in all 3 levels. And he's off the bench, dude. So when you have somebody like that coming off the bench, facing 5 players that have played for the last 20 minutes straight or however many minutes straight in the second half, that's going to happen. And guess what? You're letting Anthony Edwards face players like LeBron James that's played 46 straight minutes.
Gassed.
And it's Anthony Edwards that just came off. I think Anthony Edwards sat a good portion of the third quarter and then came in the fourth and just exploded. I mean, there's no stopping him. So it's like.
So I guess we're not going to see that.
The Lakers are so top heavy. It's just the battle of depth. That's what the playoffs always are. But the Lakers just don't have it.
Makes sense.
And J.J. Redick, like, this seems like a bad coaching decision or like an inexperienced coaching decision. It's never been done before, but, like, it kept them in the game is what I think. Like, I don't think it made you can definitely frame it as this is why they lost, but I think this is why they almost won.
Okay.
So
you're saying that this is a good coaching decision, but even they're doing their best they can, and if he didn't do this, it would have been much worse.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they don't have anyone off the bench.
Like 3.
Yeah, so Jared Vanderbilt has not been playing great. They have Jordan Godwin on the roster, Gabe Vincent, and that's it. I mean, who are they going to put in? Bronny James?
Why is Connect not playing? Is he not doing good?
He's not. After that Hornets fiasco thing, he didn't. I mean, his confidence was so shook. He's a rookie. He's young.
They tried to trade him already.
He hasn't got much playing time at all, really. So, I mean, Jared Vanderbilt's like their only solid option off the bench, and he hasn't been playing up to his standards either. So
yeah, he didn't flip and do anything other than a rebound. Or 2 rebounds.
When your depth is Gabe Vincent, Jordan Godwin, and, I mean, your center is Jackson Hayes that's only getting 4 minutes in a playoff game, and that's your only center?
What are the betting odds Bronny gets in next game? I'd bet money. I'd bet money Bronny gets in.
He's
next
not
game.
getting playoff minutes.
The only reason why is because the Lakers may not make the playoffs next season, and you may see them do this is the first father-son duo to ever play in a playoff game together.
But pretty much my predictions now, the Timberwolves are making it to the second round. They'll most likely play the Warriors. The Nuggets-Clippers, that's a toss-up, dude. I would like this. Honestly, would like to see the Clippers make it because I want to see playoff Kawhi more.
I like Russell.
But I also love Jokic, and I do love Russell Westbrook. So that's a win-win for me. I'd love to see either of them play the Thunder. I think the Clippers honestly have a little bit better. Dude, I don't know actually. Because the Nuggets are a championship roster that has really not changed at all. No, they do have depth.
They do? Then how are they?
They have
I thought they were like still dominant whenever Jokic wanted to go ride ponies and stuff like that.
They don't have what they had when they won the championship, but they do have some names off the bench. They still have DeAndre Jordan. He comes in. He's a great rebounder. They have Russell Westbrook, obviously. He can come in and do what he can do sometimes. But, yeah, they are still a little shorthanded, more than they were in their championship roster, obviously. So they lost – oh, man, who'd they lost? Oh, shoot. Brown. What's his name? That was on the championship roster. Bruce Brown.
Oh, okay.
They lost Bruce Brown. That was a huge piece coming off the bench for them in their championship run. They don't have him anymore. But they do have young players now like Christian Brown. He's been great. I don't know, dude. But, yeah, they are shorthanded. I don't know, dude. They're both competitive teams, the Nuggets and Clippers, so I'd like to see them. I don't think either of them will beat the Thunder, like I said last episode. But
Thunder.
and then obviously the Cavs are going to finish off the Heat soon. They're up 3-0. The Pacers most likely will make it to the second round, so we'll probably see Cavs, Pacers.
Come on.
Knicks will probably finish the Pistons off. Unfortunately, I'd love to see the Pistons make it to Game 7 though.
I'd love
to see the Pistons. I'm loving watching the Pistons. I love Cade Cunningham. I love Jalen Duren. I love all them dudes on that team. But the Celtics are obviously going to get past the Magic. So we'll probably see Knicks, Celtics, Cavs, Pacers, Thunder, either Nuggets or Clippers, and then Lakers and Warriors for the next round.
Timberwolves or Lakers?
Oh, excuse me. I said Lakers. So I meant Timberwolves.
You're just predicting the 3-1
Timberwolves
comeback.
Warriors. Nah, they're not going.
3-1 comeback, man.
They're going to be so gassed next game now that they freaking played so
Yeah,
many
I mean,
minutes,
shoot. So your projections still lie? Thunder versus Cavs, basically.
I mean,
Or
I
do you
hate
think the
being
Pacers-
boring.
do you think the
I hate being
Pacers-
boring like that and picking the 1 seeds, but
I think Pacers. I think it's gonna be.
I mean, the Knicks could definitely make it. They're playing
I
insane.
think the Knicks are gonna beat the Celtics.
They could really be anybody playing
I
the
think it's
Thunder.
gonna be the Knicks versus the Pacers in the conference finals.
That's what I said. The Cavs, Knicks, or Celtics, right? Coming out
Yeah.
of the East, they could be.
I think Pacers and Knicks. In
I
the
feel like the
conference
Celtics
finals.
will get knocked off. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like the Celtics are. It's not
the
there yet.
Knicks are hot. I hope that Halliburton can beat Cavaliers. Thunder's gonna go all the way. I'd love to see Thunder versus Knicks or Thunder versus Pacers, and I'm fine whoever wins that series.
Yeah. So that's it for the NBA playoffs so far. So.
Yeah. All right. So in the NFL draft, as you've already seen, Shedeur Sanders slid all the way to the 5th round. I don't really think it's a slide. I don't know why he was ever a projected first rounder to begin with, to be honest. I mean, I wouldn't want to deal with.
What do you mean? Mel Kiper's always right.
Bro, Mel Kiper's a joke sometimes. He's a dude. He knows ball. I mean, he's in the position for a reason. But dude, oh my goodness, Shedeur Sanders got his jersey retired at Colorado after I believe they lost his bowl game. He went 13-12 at Colorado. He barely had a winning record, and now he's a 5th round selection. So congratulations, Colorado. That's your retired number quarterback right there for you. 5th rounder, 13-12 record.
Hey, an interesting story came out of that. The little prank call.
Dude,
It's getting investigated.
yeah.
That was the second prank. There was 2 prank calls, right? Someone else prank called.
Now Cooper DeJean was last year.
No, I'm talking about this year. There was another
I
prank
don't
call.
know.
I swear.
I know
saw it.
Cooper DeJean got prank called last year, and he kind of took it as a joke.
Maybe I'm wrong then.
And
but
then
ended up being a
Shedeur
Falcons.
Sanders. Yeah,
up
it was
being
the
a-
Falcons defensive coordinator, something, not Urlacher.
So I'm assuming
Ulbrich.
Shedeur had a number that the NFL gave him, but the NFL also obviously gave it to all the franchises.
They said that he found it off of a open tablet while he was at the organization, and he took a picture, wrote it down, something like that. So once he started to make his slide, he pulled out the number, and then
What a knucklehead.
I think it's hilarious, but it's absolutely messed up at the same time. I don't know. I feel like it's funny, but I feel like
also they're kind of asking for it because the dudes were live streaming during.
Yeah,
the,
I'm like,
dude,
dude,
you're asking for
like-
the prank, like you're already on the live stream and stuff.
I don't know. I feel like the egos that come along with this pick is the reason why he fell all the way to 144.
Yeah.
But the number 1 overall pick was Cam Ward, which it's hilarious that Cam Ward was the number 1 overall pick, but that wasn't even the biggest story of day 1. It was the fact that Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th freaking round.
What do you think about Cam Ward though?
I think Cam Ward's going to be a dog. I like Cam. I know some people don't like Cam Ward because he played at Miami, but I mean, he played at Miami, yeah, but he didn't have the greatest O-line, he had a pretty good O-line, now that I think about it, after saying that. So I just kind of contradicted myself. But his receiving core wasn't the greatest. I mean, he didn't have studs. I'm pretty sure his number 1 receiver didn't even get drafted.
He's also a Pop-Tart Bowl champion.
No, he's not. They lost.
He's also a Pop-Tart Bowl runner-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I forgot. They lost to freaking Iowa, dude.
Iowa State because
He shouldn't have got drafted number 1.
But Cam Ward they were winning. He put up.
Oh, they took him out.
He put up flipping. What was it? 28 points.
Oh yeah, you're right. They took him out at halftime.
And they took him out at halftime, put in the backup.
He broke some record, didn't he?
I have no idea. But so Cam Ward did that. And then a total of 13 quarterbacks were drafted in the entire NFL draft. The biggest one that went super early was Tyler Show, I think is how you pronounce his name, from Louisville. Don't know why the Saints drafted him with the 6th pick in the 2nd round or something like that. But the biggest thing for me that I like, or I don't like, I really don't know yet. Falcons spent every pick on defense, I believe. Love that. But in the 1st round, we drafted Jalen Walker, Georgia Bulldog. First time ever the Falcons have spent a 1st-round pick on a Georgia Bulldog. Finally, 1st or 2nd round pick on a Georgia Bulldog. But in the 26th overall pick, we traded back in with I forgot who was supposed to be there. We traded back up and then got James Pierce Jr., who was an absolute amazing player, had some attitude and off-the-field issues. But we traded our 1st-round pick for next year. So I don't know how I feel about that. But I guess I think this guy's good enough to make an impact now. And then some of the steals of the draft in my eyes were Cam Scatterbo. He was the 3rd pick in the 4th round of the New York Giants. I think Cam Scatterbo was the 2nd best running back in the draft, in my personal opinion. I think it went Ashton Genty.
Is he older?
He potentially may. I don't know if he's that much older. I can look real quick. But Cam Scatterbo was one of my biggest people. Yeah, he's 23. He's born in 2002. So I thought he was a big steal. Will Johnson falling all the way to the 2nd round after he was supposed to be a sure top 10, top 15 player. The injury kind of hurt him, which the Cardinals, I believe, got a great steal there. Luther Burden was the 7th pick in the 2nd round. I forgot what team he went to, but he was almost a sure 1st rounder out of Missouri. And then really didn't have a great year. They had some offensive issues. His draft stock fell. And then the fact that Dan Jackson, Georgia bias here, I get that, but Dan Jackson in the 7th round, that's a perfect fit for him with the Lions. what's his name? Dan Campbell, dog. I think he's going to do great there. I think he's going to earn a job on the organization. But yeah, did you follow the draft much or no? No, yeah.
I did see Dan Jackson though.
Dan Jackson, dog. But
he does. That's the one team I can imagine him going to. It's the Lions.
It's the Lions. But SEC dominated the draft with a total of 79 players being drafted in the SEC. UGA had 13, Texas had 12, Ole Miss had 8, Alabama, LSU, and Florida had 7. A couple people had 3, 4, 1s. But the only team in the SEC to not have a person drafted to the NFL was the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Very unfortunate.
Who would have known?
Who would have known? But I believe UGA had the second most people picked in the draft. I want to say Ohio State had the first with 15 or something like that.
Oh, did you see that stat for Kirby? He has more people drafted in the first round than losses.
Oh, I did see that.
Dude, that's a crazy stat.
It's insane. But Kirby Smart's insane. Did you also see that Kirby Smart's been the head coach for 10 years, and only one Georgia quarterback that he has coached has thrown a touchdown in the NFL?
What?
There's only been one touchdown. Stetson Bennett.
When did he throw a touchdown?
I'm pretty sure it's a garbage time touchdown. Someone may have been hurt, but Stetson Bennett is the only quarterback that.
How many
Jake
quarterbacks
Fromm
was in the list?
You got to think about it. I hope that stat's right, and I didn't get trolled on Instagram. But
that's crazy. Bro, he's been coaching for 10 years at Georgia.
2016 was his first year, I think. But yeah, you think about Jacob Eason, Justin Fields doesn't count, so I guess Jacob Eason doesn't count. But Jake Fromm.
Is Jake Fromm still on a team? Isn't he on a practice squad for the Lions or something?
I would say I know he was at the Lions and the Giants for a quick minute. He is currently.
No, he's on the Colts, wasn't he?
He is on the Detroit Football Lions.
Heck yeah, son.
So that'll be fun. Yeah.
What do you think about people saying that the Ravens are gonna have one of the best defenses of all time after their 2 draft picks?
I agree, dude. Good night. You have Malachi Starks, absolutely amazing person off the field, absolute amazing player on the field.
Yeah, I heard that one of his biggest draft qualities was his leadership.
Dude, it's amazing. Malachi went to Jefferson, the high school that I went to. Dude was an absolute leader. He was one of the most humble people you'll ever meet. I remember playing kickball in the front yard during COVID with this dude. He was a sure NFL player. Had multiple D1 scholarships, and instead of being too high horse or whatever like that, just went outside and played with the neighbor kids. So one of the most humble guys, great leader. You've seen qualities like that at Georgia, where you talk about him being keeping people accountable, being a great leader. So
yeah, just him being a captain as a junior. Dude,
yeah, he was I'm pretty sure he started almost every single game his freshman year in 2022 when we won the national championship, and he was a leader sophomore and junior year on that defense, but. Malachi is a great acquisition for the Ravens, and you also have Kyle Hamilton, who they drafted a year or two ago, another safety. That team is absolutely amazing.
I gotta ask, and I know it's about to be crazy biased. Do you think Malachi Starks being drafted pushes them over the top and they win a Super Bowl this year?
Yes. No,
they're already right there, dude. This might be the missing piece.
Maybe. Who else did they get?
They got one other defensive player that I saw people going crazy about.
Ravens draft picks. So they got Malachi Starks, Mike Green from Marshall, linebacker. I'm pretty sure he led the college football in it wasn't sacks. Yeah, he was basically one of the greatest defensive players. He led some kind of stat or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Dude was a dog out of Marshall. So I think they're going to have a really great team. I honestly think they do have a chance to win the Super Bowl. I think they had a chance to win the Super Bowl last year, but they just had an unfortunate drop on the goal line with Mark Andrews. But anyway, that's all the NFL stuff. MLB, basically Brave stuff. Ian Anderson, who I absolutely flipping love, is returning to the Braves after being on waivers from the Angels, and we claimed him. And last episode, we were talking about the return of Spencer Strider doing half decent in his game, looking up, and we were both pumped. And now he's on the IL again after his first game back with a potential hamstring strain. There's no timetable for return, they said, but it's going to be sooner rather than later. So
he overstrided and hurt his hamstring.
Yes, he overstrided.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then recently,
Strider
die, baby. I'm gonna let you pronounce the name.
Eugenio Suarez.
Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, that boy went 4 for 4, brother.
Dude,
with 4 homers. Who was pitching?
Raisel Iglesias gave up the last one, and I lost some fantasy points because of it. Who was on the mound that game?
See, that was the problem, though. He only had 5 RBIs on 4 home runs.
That's
so they had no runners on.
Yeah, so he only had 5 RBIs off the 4 home runs. He had a 2-run home run and then 3 solo shots, and they actually ended up losing the game still. The Braves ended up winning in the 10th.
If they would have had runners on, man, he got sold by the rest of his team.
I remember watching the game, and I heard the stat. He walked up to bat 3 for 3 with 3 home runs.
Wait, what was the score? Did they only have 5?
It was 7-6.
Okay.
And he hit there was 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, and he hit a home run on a
dude,
full
having
count.
4 home runs as a team, you would expect to have more than 6 runs.
But I believe the Braves also had a good bit of home runs because you had Marcell Ozuna hit a bomb, Sean Murphy hit a bomb. Let's see, Grant Holmes was the one pitching on the mound.
Why? I'm just looking on here, bro.
Eli White hit a bomb.
Why did people give up on Alex Verdugo?
I don't know, dude.
He's been going crazy, it looks like.
So Alex Verdugo is an absolute dog. Him and Eli White.
I mean, it is only 8 games, but still.
Him and Eli White have been providing some great consistency for the Braves during their, we slowly started to pick it back up. I believe we're 12-14, 12-15 now after starting 0-5. So, in my eyes, we're basically 12-5 because we're just going to throw away the first 2 series. Verdugo in 8 games with the Braves is batting .333 with 5 RBIs. And the thing I love the most about the 3 games, he only has 3 strikeouts. So if he gets 3 or 4 at-bats every single game, that's 32 at-bats and you're only striking out 3 times. I mean, I don't mind that. And then you also have 2 walks to go along with that. And then Eli White, who's came across some power as of recently. He had a 3-run bomb the other day. He had a 2-run bomb last game, I believe. He in 19 games, he's batting .273 with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. Does have 8 strikeouts, but along with 4 walks. So Braves are slowly but surely picking it back up. I feel like pitching and the bullpen is still a little iffy, but the bats are getting hot.
Hey, they got a long time to trade, make some trades. That's what they did when we won last time. Trades at the deadline, man.
Bring back Jock. I want Jock
Dude,
Dober.
No.
Yes.
Have you seen that man this season?
Bro.
He's had the worst start in MLB history.
I'm pretty sure
He's in like 40.
I'm pretty sure that he is the 3rd worst offensive player in the MLB for qualified batters. But
Do you think he's like Jesse Chavez?
he is the Jesse
For the rest of
Chavez.
for the rest of his career, he's going to only be able to play good on the Braves.
Let's see. Let's look up Jock Peterson's exact stats right now. He is batting 101, no home runs, 1 RBI, and only 7 hits the entire season.
Heck yeah.
Bring him
back,
home,
dude.
boys.
Bring him back.
Bring him home. Jock Peterson's last hit. No, never mind. He got a hit 4 days ago. But he had a 0-41 streak.
Dude, is that the longest in his
No, dude, not in
I
history.
thought it was close. I thought I saw something like it was getting close, like Chris Davis.
I would say
or something.
I know Chris Davis. Pretty sure
I think Chris Davis only had like in the 50s. I thought, or high 40s.
Chris Davis slump.
Strikeout streak, or hitless streak.
0 for 54.
Yeah, so that's not far off. That's not far off, dude.
Dang, I did not realize it was that bad. I thought it was like
That boy
60
trash,
something.
boy. He
Bring
just
him
don't-
back home.
Yeah, it's just the environment he's in. He needs to come
Yeah,
back
why are
into
you-
the peaceful,
why are you
nice,
in Texas,
serene
dude?
Atlanta
Why are
environment.
you in Texas?
Yeah, it's too hot out there, dude.
It's too hot.
Come back to the Georgia rainforest.
Dude, come on. Come back to the humidity, man. That's all I got to say.
Exactly.
But it was rough. But that's basically all. Yeah.
Good episode.
Good
episode.
Good episode.
I think.
Good episode.
Yep. We might sound stupid and casual still, but
Yeah. I mean,
Hey.
it's in the name. We're
Hey,
casual.
this is 2 episodes in a week.
Let's see if we can keep it up. Because, I mean, summer's going to look a little funky. But
Yep.
summer's not here
We're gonna
yet.
figure out that Zoom though.
Yeah, we're going to get that
We're gonna be
Zoom.
professional with it. We're gonna be
We're gonna
professional
be
with
real
it.
professional with
Yeah,
it.
but that's it for today. We gonna keep watching the NBA playoffs. We gonna keep keeping up with all the off seasons that are going on right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out as it goes. When the NBA playoffs are over, it might get a little bit interesting with the content, but
Yes.
also I'm looking forward to it.
Posting more on Instagram, too.
Oh yeah.
Follow that. It should be somewhere.
We're gonna get
Never
it
mind.
back up.
Yeah.
I might do some posts on like recaps of some of the playoff games.
Yeah.
And series. As soon like when all the series start wrapping up, I'll do some recaps.
Come
of
on.
that stuff on the Instagram. So
Look out for those.
yep. Look forward to more content. Maybe different and new content. Yeah. Just stick with us, boys. Like we've said from the beginning, we slowly but surely getting there and
Oh,
getting
yeah.
back into it. So
Come on.
all right, fellas. That's it for today.
We'll see you.
y'all, boys. Yee-yee.